All right, let's get right into it. We're about to unpack a story that, honestly, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. I mean, you've got a global superstar, a terrifying spray of bullets, and this bizarre cross-country mystery that all comes to a head at a mansion in Beverly Hills. The crazy part? This was all terrifyingly real. So, the big question is, what exactly went down at Rihanna's house? I know the headlines were absolutely shocking, but believe me, once we dig into the details, it gets even more disturbing. Okay, so picture this. The home of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky suddenly becomes a target. And we're not talking about some random act of vandalism here. No, this was a direct, violent attack. And the most terrifying part? It wasn't just them inside. Their three little kids were there too. And the intensity of this attack, it's just staggering. Police found that more than 17 shots were fired at the property. But get this, the family wasn't even in the house. They were in a Caravan, parked right out front, directly in the line of fire. I mean, it is an absolute miracle that nobody was hurt. So to really grasp just how serious this is, we've got to look at who the target was, because this wasn't just an attack on some pop star. No, this was an attack on a global force. I mean, her journey is pretty legendary, right? She's from Barbados, leaves school at 16 to chase her music dream. By 17, she's signing a 6-album deal with Jay-Z. Her rise was just meteoric. But here's the thing about Rihanna. After winning 9 Grammys, she didn't just sit back. She launched Fenty Beauty in 2017 and completely flipped the entire cosmetics industry on its head. And her success outside of music? It's on a whole other level. Fenty Beauty is valued at a mind-blowing $2.8 billion. This isn't some celebrity side project. It's a full-blown empire that made her a self-made billionaire. And unfortunately, that kind of wealth, that kind of fame, well, it can attract a really dangerous kind of attention. Okay, so who would do something this insane? The police investigation led them to a suspect, and let's just say her motives seem to come from a really, really delusional and disturbing place. So, let's meet the accused. Her name is Ivana. She's a 35-year-old woman from Florida, and according to police, she got into her white Tesla and drove over 4,000 kilometers. That's all the way across the entire country to LA, with what seems to be one single violent goal in mind. And this is where the story takes a turn into the truly bizarre. I'm going to read you a direct quote from one of the many, many unsettling videos Ivana posted online. She said, "Rihanna is a witch who is trying to end my life using magic and evil forces. She is stealing my energy." Yeah. She was completely convinced that Rihanna was part of some demonic plot to ruin her life. Her social media was just this rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and strange ramblings aimed at a bunch of different celebrities. But here's the thing, Ivana wasn't just some anonymous troll online. Professionally, she was a speech pathologist. On the personal side, she was a mother who had actually lost custody of her kids. And her history is complicated. There's a prior domestic violence charge, she'd been involuntarily hospitalized for a mental health evaluation, and get this, she once even tried to file a legal motion to stop a Billie Eilish concert. So when you put it all together, it really paints a picture of a deeply troubled person. So all of this raises a huge question, right? Is this just the work of one obsessed person who finally snapped? Or is there something more to this story? Right now, the police are looking at 2 very different theories. All right, let's break these down. On one hand, you've got theory number 1. It's the most straightforward. Ivana is just an obsessed fan with serious mental health issues, and she acted alone. Her online stuff definitely points in that direction. But then you have theory number 2, which is way more sinister. It suggests that maybe Ivana was just a pawn, and the real target was A$AP Rocky. The timing is really suspicious here. He was just about to kick off a massive world tour. So could this whole attack have been a warning? A message? Now, to really get why that second theory even exists, you've got to look at A$AP Rocky's recent past. Just a year before this, he was in deep legal trouble. He was accused of assault with a firearm by an old friend and was staring down a possible 24-year prison sentence. Now, he was acquitted of all charges, but the whole case was super high profile and really messy. So that's what makes investigators wonder, could this shooting be some kind of payback or intimidation linked to that? Okay, so regardless of the why, the legal trouble Ivana is in is absolutely massive. The prosecution has thrown the entire book at her. We're talking 1 count of attempted murder. 10 counts of assault with a semi-automatic weapon. That's for everyone who is nearby. And 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling. These are not minor charges. This is incredibly serious. And you can tell the justice system is not playing around here. Her bail was first set at a whopping $10 million. It was eventually lowered, but it's still at $1.9 million. A number like that pretty much guarantees she's staying behind bars while this whole thing plays out. But here's the thing. Even with a suspect locked up and a trial on the horizon, this case is so far from closed. Actually, it feels like the deeper you dig, the more questions pop up. Okay, let's start with the money. How does an unemployed woman, who we know had lost custody of her kids, afford a Tesla and a 4,500-kilometer road trip across the country? I mean, where did that cash come from? And then there's the gun. Where did she get a semi-automatic weapon? The source is still a total mystery. How does someone with her background and seemingly no money just acquire a firearm like that? Okay, this one for me is the most chilling question of all. How on earth did she know their exact location? Not just the address, but that on that specific day, at that exact moment, the entire family would be sitting targets in a Caravan right out front? Was that just some terrifying one-in-a-million coincidence? Or was it something else entirely? And that brings us to the final, haunting question that hangs over this whole thing. Was Ivana just an obsessed fan whose delusions finally boiled over into violence? Or was she something else? A pawn, maybe, being used in a much bigger, much more dangerous game. We still don't have the answer. And that's it for this explainer. Thanks so much for joining us.